Damien has done a marvellous job of pulling the guide together, and I think some of the people in the room have also contributed, so just let's have a round of applause for creation of that. So as Mike said, my story started around 5 years ago, and with the creation of the first 10-star home. And unfortunately, I'm one of the statistics that Catherine talks about, because my two children one of them particularly has serious health issues after moving out of my warm, dry, healthy home after the earthquakes, and moving into substandard rental accommodation. And the trigger for the asthma was mould. So Sebastian, he's a very good hypersensitive mould meter. If I want to know if there's mould anywhere, I just take him with me. So the good thing is my story is about to, that chapter, large chapter, 10 years waiting for my insurance and get my house repaired, it's just about to come to an end, because the last couple of days I've just been moving into my house, a super reno, and we'll have a nice warm house for winter. So hang on, I just need the clicker, I've left it behind. All right, I'll try and keep to 10 minutes because I'm not very good at keeping to time. So I'm going to talk to you about SuperDesign and what makes a healthy home. And Damien's already mentioned HEROES. I think it's a great acronym, and this is really important. And my mission today is to turn you all into superheroes. So just so I know who's in the audience, how many people in the industry, how many designers do we have? Great. And how many builders? And who's just interested in hearing about a healthy home and wanting a home? Okay, so we've got about 50-50 of industry and homeowners, which is always a challenge, because I'm going to have to try and not talk too technical. But all you designers, you're here because you're already interested in this, so it's kind of like preaching to the choir. So forgive me if I get a bit simple. So, wrong way, sorry. It's not moving. Okay, so which one of these people has the most effect on public health? This is an oldie but a goodie. Who thinks is this a pointer? Yeah. Who thinks it's this doctor? Wrong. The architect, I had to Photoshop the black turtleneck and the little round glasses, because there is no Lego architect. It's actually the construction worker, because only 5% of homes are designed by architects, if you listen to what brands say. And here's some of these frightening statistics. If we all lived in healthy homes, there'd be 30% less hospital admissions. Every $1 spent on warm, dry, healthy home saves $4 on our public health system. And Damien mentioned the research. Auckland University and Brands just rolled out the results of some research. We're just researching the thing over and over again. What we need is action, and this is what the super home movement is all about. So because I've only got 10 minutes, I've thought, what are the top 5 things and that are really important? So first of all, thinking about design holistically, and not even just thinking about the house as a system. Damien mentioned a house as a system. It's actually a collection of systems working together. But thinking more broadly about the ecosystem that it fits within, and just thinking about your values and principles and broadening your thinking before you even start to think of the actual object that you're building itself, the ecosystem that it sits within. And our homes that we're building in New Zealand, brand new homes, have 5 to 7 times the emissions, the carbon emissions that are required to meet the Paris Agreement. It's staggering. So we've got a long way to go. The good thing is we can do it now. It's not a technical challenge, it's just a communication problem. So we can solve this now. So first of all, with design, I think about, Mr. Busby with his big mansions and the dramatic music. I think about size. Let's just build what we use every day, what we need. Don't build a couple of extra bedrooms because that's what the real estate agent tells you need. That will mean that you've got more money to put into the quality and the performance of the home. So that's a really good place to start. Obviously, the orientation. First principles. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You think it's just common sense, but a lot of the time that gets lost. Layout, universal design, designing the house so it's functional, thinking about the shape of the house as well, so that it's efficient in terms of the surface area and the heat loss. So, form, function, first fabric. Fortunately, we have a wonderful standard from Germany starting to be established in New Zealand called Passive House, and that's all about fabric first and thermal performance. And our best standard in the Healthy Home Guide in terms of energy and airtightness and thermal performance is the Passive House standard. But we recognise that for some people that's a stretch too far. So windows, it's no surprise that our main supporter is a window manufacturer. Windows are really important, and the glazing, thank you, Mike. High performance glass, low E glass gives you, nowadays the best glass gives you 50% better performance. So just having the right windows recessed into the warm part of the wall, that's something that you can do that doesn't necessarily cost more money. It's just thinking about lining up the window with the insulation. So really important, windows. I look at windows as a hole in the wall. It's where the biggest heat loss in the building is. So super important, super windows. Internal environment quality or internal air quality, and hand in hand with that goes ventilation. You cannot have an airtight house without ventilation. So having proper, balanced energy recovery ventilation that brings in fresh air. Our air quality inside our homes is 5 to 10 times worse than the air quality outside. And people don't know that because you can't see it. It's invisible. So this is what I started talking about to start with. Doing less bad isn't enough. Just a green building, a sustainable building. Sustainable is described by some people as a slower way to die. So we want to go beyond sustainability, and I like the idea of the handprint. Reduce your footprint for sure, but what does good look like? And your handprint, and thinking about regenerative design and thinking about how we fit in with nature. Probably 3 years ago I did a course to learn about the Living Building Challenge. It changed the way I design. Living Building Challenge, look it up if you haven't already. So the SuperWall. So here, this is just there's different ways of doing things. And, this is just our idea of how to do a wall which is going to be much more thermally efficient, airtight, and also insulating the edge of the foundation, a key point. So all of these details are available in the guide. It's just Healthy Home Design Guide. Surprisingly, a lot of people didn't realise that the assumed amount of timber in our walls, the ratio of timber to insulation, is much different in reality. So up to 50% or more. On average, 34% of the wall is timber, and it was assumed that it's 14 to 18%. So immediately, the problem with that is timber is nowhere near as good as the insulation. So immediately, you've got probably not much more than half the thermal performance that you think you have because of the amount of timber that's getting put into our houses unnecessarily. So that was some recent research by Brands and Beacon Pathway. And there's a lot of ways to get around that. This is just one idea. Here, have a services cavity. Okay, so that's it, simple way. Don't need stars. Don't need thousands of dollars to spend on ratings. So The whole idea of the super home movement has been to create change from the ground up, because back when we started, we thought it's unlikely the building code's going to change. So at the moment it's looking likely that it's going to be changed. Fingers crossed they make the right changes, which is fabulous, but it's always going to be a bare minimum because of pressures, commercial pressures, but it's a level of protection. So we're always going to have to think about doing better than the building code. So the biggest thing we've done with the super home movement is the super home tours. And this year we're just organising the tours. We've got 12 homes in Christchurch. We've got homes around the country. And nationwide. 14th, 15th of August. It's wonderful because people can come into the homes, they can ask the homeowner, how much did it cost to build? What's your power bill? The last house we finished their last power bill was $3.50 for the month. And it's just really important that people can learn about this stuff, because they don't get that by going to a show home by a group home building company. And most people decide what they're going to build after looking at a show home. So these homes aren't normally available for people to look at. So this is my super reno that I mentioned. You'll probably hear more about this in the coming months. So I don't have time to talk about that. I just got the big T signal from Mike. So time's up. If you can, make a submission on the building code, because it's really important that as many people as possible submit. And if it helps, copy and paste some stuff from the Super Home one, and we'll make sure it's available on our website and on our Facebook, LinkedIn, that sort of thing. So to make it easy for you, because everybody's busy. Thank you very much, and enjoy the evening.